Pressure. But we're going to get started. So welcome to Worksheet 17, Magical World of Prepositions. So as we said in class, right, prepositions are these relationship words. So they kind of put two objects in some kind of relationship to one another, whether it's location, so it could be directional, right? If you're going towards something, you're going away from something, you're on something, you're above something, you're under something. It could be time relationship, so before something or after something. Um, or it could be, something as simple as where it is located, right? So, a couple different ways that you could describe this. Example of what a preposition looks like when you learn it. You learn the Latin preposition ad. It takes the accusative case and it has multiple meanings, right? I only put two or towards here, but you could easily add at or near depending on the context. Prep phrase means the preposition plus all the words that it is going with. So towards what? Could be a noun, could be a noun and an adjective. It could be a pronoun, right? Ad me means towards me. Ad te means towards you. Ad hunc means towards this guy. Ad illos, towards them. So lots of different words, but nouns or pronouns, pretty much. Because they take a particular case, right? We want to get used to seeing prepositional phrases. They're going to all kind of look the same. So Mark, it's all you. Sine, right? Sine amicum, sine amico. Sine goes with the ablative case, so sine amico. Right? I'll do all kinds of things. I'll bold it, I'll underline it. I think I'll bold it and I'll highlight it. I don't really like how underline works, especially with the autocorrect. Prope. Prope means near. Properomam, properoma, properomam, right? And those of you watching thinking, well, how do I know which one it takes? That's the vocabulary, right? That's knowing. Prope takes the accusative, sine takes the ablative. So without a friend, prepositions, actually. Preposition is pri. So pri means in front of, positus means put. So a preposition is put in front of another word. Cum Antonium, cum Antonio. Cum meaning with. Cum Antonio. Cum takes the ablative case, of course. Okay, cum Antonio. Inter, which means among or between. Inter homines or inter hominibus. Inter homines. Inter always goes with the accusative case. Among the men, among the people, between the people, depends on the situation. De flumen or de flumine. De meaning down from, could also mean about, depending on the context. De flumine, de goes with the ablative case. De flumine. In agros, in agris. Yeah, this one's a little tricky. In can go with either one depending on the situation. So if there is motion, if I am walking into the fields, then I would use the accusative case, in agros. If I'm standing in the fields or I'm, someone lives in the fields, then it would be with the ablative, agris. So it depends on the situation. Ab, the preposition ab, ab, away from. It can also mean by if it's with a person, but an edificium is a building. Ab edificio, ab edificio. Now, oops, highlight. Why am I using ab, the longer form ab, instead of the shorter form a? Why is it ab edificio and not a edificio? Exactly, right? So we would use this longer form, this ab, because this word starts with a vowel. And it allows us to kind of smooth those two words together. Ab edificio, instead of having to say a edificio. So ab edificio. En contra. Contra. Such a good word. They made a whole video game about it. Contra means against. Contra eum or contra eo. Contra eum. Mark, what does that mean, contra eum? Not sure if we learned this word last year. This little word, eo, eum, against him. Yep, that's the word for him. And if you say it, eum, 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 kind of becomes him. Yeah, probably one of the last things you did. Is, ea, id, that big old chart. You could learn a big old chart, or you could just learn your endings and put an E in front of it. And there you go. You got the whole chart. All right. Now for these prepositional phrases, the first few going from Latin to English, probably a little bit easier. The endings are already done for you. So sub urbe. Gotta love those charts. Suburbe. I can think of a couple ways. Yeah, it could be at the foot of the city, right? If you think of the city being up on a mountain, right, then at the foot of that mountain, at the foot of the city, so below the city might be a good kind of catch-all. Could be below the city, could be under the city, could be at the foot of the city. A lot of different ways that we could do that one. How about prae templo? Prae going with the ablative case, prae templo, not prae templum, prae templo. In front of or before the temple. Yes. I'm going to go with in front of the temple, only because I know that not a lot of people... now, you could say, and it's a little bit of an older way to say things, but standing in front of something, another way to say that is standing before it, right? I stand before you. Not in time, but literally in position. So... I was standing before the temple means I was standing in front of the temple. Okay. Perteram. Perteram. Throughout the earth. Through the earth. I mean, if I were digging a hole, maybe I would say I was digging a hole through the ground, right? Because terra can also just mean like the earth in the sense of like the dirt. So we need a little context, but through or throughout the earth. If you're thinking of it in a sense of like, oh, somebody is known per terram, throughout the world, you could think of it that way. Typically, when they're talking about the world, you would use like orbem, the round thing. That's what they call the world. Or mundum, like il mundo in Spanish. So again, we're translating these out of context, so we can kind of play around with it a little bit. Now we have an adjective to go with our noun, ob longa nocte, or ob nocte longa. Could kind of go either way. What is ob? Because of. Because of the long night. Because of the long night, I, wasn't able to get much time outside. How about pro tuo filio? Pro with the ablative, pro tuo filio. Yeah, for your son. And it's for in the sense of on behalf of your son. So you wouldn't use it here if you were going to say, like, I have a gift for your son. That would just be in the dative case. But I am doing this for your son. Right? I'm doing it on his behalf. That would be the idea here for pro. Extramuros maximos. Extra with the accusative, outside of, or just outside of the, not just the great walls, the greatest walls, the largest walls. Maybe we'd say for walls. Outside of the largest walls. Could that be dative of reference or no? The thing is, Mark, as you read later Latin, they kind of start blurring the lines between those two. So a lot of authors will use pro later on, where their older counterparts might use the dative case. So they all just start blending together. Right? As cases go out of style, what happens is that you have people using prepositions more and more. It's why the word de becomes the word of in most Romance languages, because the idea of cases starts to fade away, and so they find the preposition that kind of means the same thing. That's one of those language, over hundreds of years, people start saying things in a different way. I mean, if you think of English, we've certainly changed a lot in the last couple hundred years. How about number 7? Supra nostrum ignem. Supra nostrum ignem. Supra is like super. They both kind of mean the same thing. Super, supra. Yeah, over our fire. And since it is in the accusative case, Mark, and who else is in here? 7 rats at the moment. Since it's in the accusative, oh, that's Tegan. Well, Tegan's here. There's probably motion involved. So if we're using supra like this, maybe someone jumped over our fire, or they threw something over our fire. That would be my guess. Number 8, we're going the other way. Can supra be with ablative? Supra, I think I've seen it before with the ablative, but typically use super if you want it to be with the ablative. Yeah. And again, these things, they change. They evolve with the language. Typically, I've seen it both ways. I'll just say that. Sometimes they're not hard and fast rules. How about across the wide sea? What would my preposition be? Across, right? Comes right into English. Trans, excellent. Now we need the accusative to go with trans. Mare is neuter, so trans latu mare. Across the wide sea. Latu mare, right? Mare, the accusative mare is mare. Mare, 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 mare. Maron. The plural of mare is a little weird. It's Maria. If it was across the wide seas, it would be Lata Maria. Around the beautiful city. Now the word around, I'm here talking about like running around the city. In English, sometimes we say like, oh, I saw somebody like around the building, as in the sense of like near the building. I like it. Hey, if it works. Ooh, it does not like that word. We're going to allow that word. Circum. So circum is a preposition for around, like a circle. And it takes the accusative case. So I need beautiful city in the accusative. Urbem. And since city is feminine, pulchrum. Mark, why do those two words not have the same ending? Why is urbem but pulchrum? What? How is that possible? Yeah, urbem is third declension, but the adjective, pulchrum, is first declension. There we go. So the adjective and the noun are different declensions. Mark is, he's got the whole stream on his shoulders right now. And last one with the best young men. And I can't stress this enough. Young man. That is one word in Latin. Right? That is a juvenis. A juvenis is a young man. They would not say a juvenis vir. It's just a juvenis. A juvenile. Young man. Doesn't like that word either. So we're going to deny that word. Cum. I saw it in the chat. I got you guys. Cum juvenibus. And what would my adjective be if they are the best young men? Optimis. Excellent. Why don't those two words have the same ending? Oh, I feel like I've asked this before. They are different declensions, right? Juvenis is third declension, optimis is second. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, and just to make sure that we keep the juices flowing here, we have the masculine noun frater, meaning brother. So tuus, tua, tuum. We are, of course, going to use tuus. Tuus, frater. What would my genitive be? You guys keep them coming. Different declensions, right? Tuus is going to be second declension. Frater is going to be third. Tui fratris. Excellent. Right, second declension on the adjective, third declension on the noun. Tua fratri. Excellent, excellent. In the accusative, the most predictable of the cases, tuum fratrem. Always with those M's, unless it's neuter. Tuum fratrem. And in the ablative singulars are always vowels by themselves. So tuo fratre. Tuo fratre. Excellent. How about our plurals? Tui fratres. Excellent. Tui fratres. Tuorum fratrum. All right, so orum on the adjective, but just on the noun because it's third declension. Dative and ablative plural are really boring. It's ises and ibus. Is and ibus. That's all you got. So tuis fratribus. Dative and ablative plural always is or ibus. Right? Abus and ubus and the kind of funky ones in fourth and fifth, but for the most part, you're looking at is and ibus. Tuos fratres for the accusative, and dative and ablative plural are always the same. Tuis fratribus. Okay. So a couple things before I sign off here. Make sure that you look carefully at 8, 9, and 10. I have a feeling that's where most of your mistakes are going to be from doing it in class. Yeah, about 20 minutes. Keep it tight. Again, make sure that you are highlighting. Don't erase the wrong stuff. Just highlight the one that it actually goes with. And in the case of number 6, it's both. And as always, always, always make sure that you know your, not just what the words mean, but also for prepositions, know what case they go with. Okay? And you just kind of get used to seeing certain prepositions with certain cases. And that's how it is in Latin. Just like when you learn English and you were to say to somebody, oh, give it to he. And you'd be like, give it to he. That doesn't sound right. It should be give it to him. Right? There should be an M on the end. That's how most people approach their own language. So Romans are not running around going, oh my God, I wanted to use this preposition, but I didn't know what case to put. It's just what sounds good. Oh, ambulo per terra. Per terra? No, per terram. Right? It just sounds wrong if you are somebody who knows the language. So that's what I want you guys to get used to, particularly with this section. What case goes with that preposition? The nice thing is when you're reading Latin, they always get it right. So when you see prope, it's going to be followed by an accusative because the Romans were really good at their own language. So it's only when I ask you to go the other way that you really, really have to think about it. Okay? All right, kiddos, it is noon, and I got a class in 15 minutes. As always, thank you for being here. And spread the word, no quiz this week. I've canceled the quiz for the week. We're going to do it next week so that we can practice this stuff a little bit more. Okay? A little insider information that you guys are getting first. So, I'll see you when I see you. Bye, guys.